I want to talk about something that's important to all my constituents, probably all of you in this room, and that's welfare fraud. Just about 3 weeks ago, I've got an article here about an arrest made at the behest of the Office of State Inspector General of some folks who ran a corner grocery store that were dealing with some SNAP benefits. And so they have been charged with welfare fraud. Do you automatically sanction folks, either recipients or store owners, that are caught in this web?
So we work very closely with the Office of the Inspector General, and when we suspect fraud, we send those referrals to the OIG, who then follows up on that.
Okay, so you feel like you're on top of that?
We work very closely with the OIG. We do quite a bit to address SNAP fraud and other fraud.
Perfect segue. So my next question was,
do you sanction or forbid those stores or individuals from getting benefits in the future if they are caught committing fraud?
So
I think that was the question.
Lisa, do you want to come up and address that?
She can sit there.
He's already been sworn in. Just state your name for the record so that the secretary has that, or stenographer.
Lisa Watson. Sure.
And your title.
Deputy Secretary for the Office of Income Maintenance. So in terms of the retailers, FNS actually, they establish who it is that's allowed to participate in a SNAP program. So they actually define the criteria, and they're responsible for removing any particular vendor that has been suspected of fraud or prosecuted as a result of fraud, removing them from the list. We actually make referrals to the OSIG on any recipients. Sometimes we're able to make referrals on retailers, but our primary focus is on the individuals themselves. In terms of the individual sanctions, it depends what the outcome is of the actual case once we refer it over to the OSIG.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving along, if I may, you started to say some of the measures that you're taking to track these things down. What do you do to prevent recipients from selling their SNAP benefits? What can be done?
Sure. So, I mean, in terms of just broadly addressing SNAP fraud, I mean, one of the things we do is we have PIN numbers. So if somebody loses their card or something like that, we have PIN numbers that protect the use of that card, so someone else can't just pick it up and walk away with it. And again, if a CAO worker or anybody else suspects fraud, they have access to enter relevant information directly into OIG's portal. So they can immediately send a referral over to OIG to have OIG start investigating it. We also monitor the use of cards. So to get to the fraud question, we have an EBT unit that is responsible for looking at various transactions that occur to determine if those transactions are appropriate. We look at a variety of things that we frankly don't share publicly because we don't want individuals to know what we're looking at and what we're tracking. But, and there are also times where we can identify potential vendor fraud based on client information we see. But we do track a lot of different things and monitor card usage so that we can get an indication if we think something is going on that shouldn't be going on. The other thing we do is we send letters to recipients who request multiple cards. So
That's where I was going next.
yeah, so today's policy prior to Senate Bill 6, which passed last year, was to send letters to individuals that had requested 4 or more EBT cards within a 12-month period. This letter then alerts the client that their account is being monitored for suspicious activity. We've been sending those letters since 2013. If suspicious activity continues, we then send a referral to the OIG for further research and investigation. But with the implementation of Senate Bill 6, we'll be sending letters to recipients who request a second replacement card in a 12-month period and then make a referral to the OIG. I would note that in the past, those letters have proven to be a really effective deterrent once someone is sort of put on notice that they're on a watch list.